Okay. So Jamie Fitzpatrick calling the Finance Subcommittee meeting. I will read off the checklist to ensure the meetings are compliant with the right to know law during the state of emergency. As chair of the Sanborn Regional School Board's Finance Subcommittee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to executive order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the Sanborn Regional School Board's Finance Subcommittee have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through the platform and through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in the meeting through dialing the following phone number: 1-646-558-8656. The meeting ID is 999-9762-3093, or you can click on the following website, which is at sau17.net. You can go to the link and click on the link rather than me trying to read an entire HTTPS, as I'm having a hard enough time with the English. B, providing public notice of necessary information for assessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for assessing the meeting, including how to access the meeting using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have also been provided on the website of the Sanborn Regional School District at www.sau17.net. Providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please call 978-482-7394 or email at helpdesk@sau17.net. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to assess the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes are taken during this meeting shall be done by a roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there's anyone in the room with you during the meeting, which is required under the right to know law. So I'll start with myself, Jamie Fitzpatrick. I'm in my home office and alone, and I'll just go around the screen. Dawn?
Hi, Dawn Dutton. I am in my home and I am downstairs alone.
Jim?
Jim Baker. I'm at home alone and
okay. Matt?
Matt Angel. I'm at the SAU office in Kingston and I'm here alone.
Tom?
I'm Ambrose in my home office alone.
Okay. So why don't we get started? Have you had a chance to review the minutes? Can I get a motion on the minutes?
so moved. Approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay. So go around for the roll call vote. Dawn?
Aye.
Jim?
Yes.
And myself, aye. Revolving fund trust balance. Matt, could you step us through that?
Yep, sure. So the balances for the end of April are as follows. Special Education Expendable Trust Fund has $240,753. The Capital Improvement and Maintenance Capital Reserve Fund has $172,728.91. The Unanticipated Educational Expenses has a balance of $75,059.66. And the Facilities Use Revolving Fund has a balance of $192,366.
Jamie?
Jim?
Yeah, I just like to point out that we need to update the balance in the unanticipated educational expense fund. It was 75 that's in there was from 2019. And the warrant that passed this year was for another 75 in March of 2020. Yep.
Go ahead, Matt.
So the 2019, the vote for 2019 occurs in fiscal year 2020, which we're in fiscal year 2020 right now. The one that got voted for March of 2020 gets funded in the 2021 budget.
Is that because of the way the warrant was written? Because the other ones get funded in the current year, don't they?
No,
No?
they don't. No,
Okay.
it's always, see, if you look at the warrant article, let me go off. On the spreadsheet, I've listed out the warrant article that set this up.
Yeah.
So basically, it's money to come from fund balance as of June 30th.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. So June 30th hasn't even occurred yet.
All right.
We have to wait until June 30th and then transfer the funds.
So that's why the capital reserve fund shows 25 instead of 50?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what threw me on that one, because the funding happened, kind of after the vote, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, that was really 50, not 25.
Yeah. So
that explained that it was because of the prior year's vote gets funded at the point in time. Go ahead, Matt.
So I want to compare it to a town that may have a December year end. So when you do your March town meeting, you're actually doing it in the year in which you're doing your appropriations. We're doing our March town meeting in advance of our appropriations.
Right.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank goodness
Okay.
we had the March meeting. Can you imagine?
Pardon?
2 days before this happened, we had our meeting.
Right.
There are districts that have not. Thank goodness. Go
Well,
Sanborn.
you mean before the voting?
Yeah, they haven't had their vote yet.
Right.
The
Oh,
second
really?
executive. They're trying to figure out what to do.
Wow.
Oh, I'm glad we're not in that boat.
Yeah.
So the next is a budget reports.
Yeah.
And I'll try to bring those up and share them. I guess that would be easier.
Jamie, before we move on, I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the 50,000 that was approved in March for the capital improvement and maintenance fund, that needs to be accepted by the school board because the warrant said up to 50,000. So does that not have to happen until next year then? Or does that have to happen before the end of this year, fiscal year?
It's going to occur sometime after July 1st.
Oh, after July 1st. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Matt, is there any there's no specific date required. It's within fiscal year. Is that a correct statement?
That's correct. Usually we try to do it before December, but sometimes I do it in July.
Okay. Let me see how I can do this. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
This is probably easier than just reading it all off, maybe.
Yeah.
This is a monthly health insurance. And this hasn't changed really from last meeting, right? It's in the 400,000 range.
That's correct.
That's a correct statement. Any questions on this?
I don't have any.
No.
Okay. Now the question is, perhaps this wasn't one of my greatest ideas.
It's at the top of the screen. It says stop sharing. And then you have to go back in and share.
Ah, thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Very good. You're learning something every day here.
Yeah, I learned that at the last meeting. So
Now you're the expert.
Ongoing professional development right there. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah. It goes to show that perhaps I can be taught, although we don't want to put hard cash on that. So let me see if I can do this again. And the answer would be no. I can see it on my screen. They cannot see it to share. Okay, so basically, Matt, can you just give us what the non without health is for the amount remaining, and if there's any significant difference from last time?
Yeah, let me see if I can bring that up on my screen for you so that you can do the same. As far as I know, it's not any significant difference.
It's about 100,000 less, I think.
I'm just trying to zoom in here. Now I'm going to see if I can share. Okay, so on this one here, we've expended so far to date, which is really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth column from the left, to $22,237,832. Now this is only the general fund. We've encumbered $6,273,000, and so there's a $1,533,499 remaining.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
So the 100,000 that was transferred to the capital reserve fund, what fiscal year was the warrant for that from?
Okay, so that is the March 2019 district meeting that authorized that $100,000 transfer.
Okay. Thank you.
And then that's the one that's set up in to have another 75,000 added to it in fiscal year 21
Yes.
through the 2020 warrant, correct?
Well, there's going to be two pieces to it. That you got the 75,000, and then you have the 50,000.
Right. So net 2019, these funds had an addition of $100,000, 25,000 to the capital improvement fund and 75,000 to educational trust fund for extra expenses. In 2020, there'll be an additional 125,000 put in, 50,000 to the capital fund, and 75,000 to the education reserve fund.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, and Matt, could you do the same thing with us for revenues, seeing as you seem to have done this professional
Sure.
hearing better than me?
Let's get my agenda going. Pop this open. Nice if we zoom it in. My screen is small. And let me share this.
I got to the point where I set up 2 screens. So I've got one where I can look at things and one where I can look at you.
Yeah.
That's
It
what
got
I'm
to the
doing.
point where I was just,
That's what the
Trying to get
Chromebook, the Chromebook is good for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do that with mine.
Oh, I hadn't thought about using my Chromebook for that.
Yeah.
yeah, I just opened my laptop on one and then I open the screen on the other and hook it up to the laptop so I can.
I'll move it up a little bit so we can see the headings. All right, so the first column on the left there, that's our estimated budget. That was what was used to determine the tax rate for last year. And then the middle column is what we've actually recorded as revenues. And so we've recorded $33,020,792 for revenues. And what remains to be collected in revenues is $2 million. Now, out of that number that to be collected is $1,013,000, which is a use of fund balance. That's a budgetary number. We'll never get it. We're essentially budgeting for a net income loss. Okay. So if you look at some of these numbers that are in the far right-hand column, if you go down to tuition for Fremont, we have one more billing that we have to do for Fremont, and the budget so far that's remaining is $961,000. I'm estimating that the bill's going to be about $1 million. And school building aid, we've got one more payment left in this fiscal year for school building aid. And then pretty much everything else is coming into budget. I have to dig into the tuition a little bit more, but at the top, And otherwise, I think we're going to hit our target.
So simplistically, Matt, is it a fair statement? And I cannot see people's hands when we're sharing, so just jump in after I'm done talking if you have a comment. Simplistically, it'd be a fair statement to take that 2.5 million on the bottom, which we say is the revenues yet to go, net out the youth balance, and say roughly we have 987,000 still to come in.
Yes, that's correct.
Fairly fair way to do it.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Do you want me to stop sharing now?
Yeah.
Now, question. On the Fremont tuition,
Mhm.
we were due a payment this week, I think.
Yes.
Can you tell me the status of that, or us the status of that?
I believe it's unpaid at this point. And I just want to point out that right now, out of the revenue that we've recorded for 33 million, 4,757,000 remains outstanding as accounts receivable. So that includes the remaining monthly payments that we receive from each of the towns and the tuition bill from Fremont School District.
So is it anticipated that we'll collect that before the end of the fiscal year?
Fremont?
The whole,
Or
all of it?
We're gonna receive all the payments from each of the towns. I've contacted each one of them directly. I feel confident that they're gonna pay timely. There's a payment schedule, by the way, that each towns make payments off of.
Yeah.
And we record as revenue the full amount. For Fremont School District, I anticipate to receive a portion of that. But it remains to be seen if we get it. We'll probably get this payment before the end of the year. I'm not sure about the final payment at this point.
Okay.
At this point, we're not, just for the public, this is where we typically would be right now. No one's quote behind yet. Just to be, we're not, Fremont has a couple more days to turn in their payment. It's not, if there's anything alarming, we'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought their due date was either today or tomorrow or the next day anyway.
Yeah.
So and the day's not over yet. So
I have not received any communication from the Fremont superintendent after a few weeks ago. She just mentioned that, they're working on the situation with collecting taxes. And if there was a concern, she'd let me know, and I haven't heard anything since.
Okay. Anything else on that?
Not for me.
Okay, the next item on the agenda was the new financial accounting software, but I think, Matt, you had some further assessments to do there. Could you just give us a quick update?
Yeah, and it's just a really quick update. Right now, I'm having to reevaluate the way that we collect our timesheets and attendance, and make sure that that either the accounting system that we're proposing can accommodate all of what that other software can provide, or we're going to stick with the other software and integrate with the accounting system. It sounds like that the accounting system can't do everything that our current system can do, but I really need to wrap my head around it a little more.
Okay.
So I advise Matt that I think that we should move forward with planning to move to the new software, but I want Matt to take the lead on the timeline for that.
Yeah, I mean, basically I suppose my thought process would be, if his assessment says, oh, wait, this change is going to cost us 300,000, then you'd have to say, well, geez, is it really staying with this or not, as to what alternate proposal would be. I wouldn't expect that we're going to see that kind of a scenario, though.
Yeah, so I think what Matt's saying is that he wants to dig in a little more. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, what I want to do is, right now the estimate 75,000. What I want to do is make sure that it includes the portal where taxpayers can go and look at our finances, and then the second thing is see whether right now we're paying almost $40,000 a year in maintenance just to do the timesheet collection, time reporting, and attendance. And I want to make sure that either we're going to stay with that, or we're going to move to the accounting system. I'm thinking the cost right now is going to be $75,000 for converting to the new system, and that's going to be $11,000, I think, in recurring payments. There's going to be a future cost for the online portal for the taxpayers, and then or taxpayer access, and we're going to probably stay with our current timesheet and attendance system.
So Matt, will you have a decision about what we're going to purchase by the next meeting so that we can get this approved? I just wanted to give people the opportunity to look things over the summer.
Okay, I will endeavor to do that.
I know you're doing a ton, and if you can't do it by then, I totally understand. And if we need to get some estimates and talk about different modules, we can always bring like we can bring the pricing to the board for different steps and just have them approve what they feel comfortable with at that point. And then we can talk at the next meeting in August about anything more. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, Matt and I will strategize about bifurcating and bring it to you all. I just would like to have the opportunity when staff aren't in the district in the summer for Marie and other people to be able to start working on this, because I know it's a pretty big process for a year to transfer. And I don't want to be pushy about it, but I also don't want to miss the window.
Yep. No, that's the right timing for the window, and that makes sense. If you break it out, I mean, my easiest way to see it would be, here's my current costs. Going to this, and kind of like Matt just laid out, going to this is going to cost me this 75. It's going to give me this guaranteed, and it's going to save me this much. I'm paying this much now. I'm going to pay this much in the future. It's going to save me this much. Not known are item 2, item 3. Potential costs of those are A, B, and C. We currently have this cost presently that it will either replace or not replace, something like that.
Yep, that's exactly what I'd like to see from Matt. Thank you, Jamie. That's perfect. So Matt, let's work. Matt was working on this, but we moved when we got the notice 2 weeks ago that the school district was going to be on remote learning for the rest of the year. We changed our timeline for moving the middle school, so that pushed this off to the side a little bit for a couple of weeks, because the middle school is moving Monday.
Yep.
Right. The middle school is moving in 3 days. They're all packed up and ready to go. So.
Yep. And we're moving most of the high school tomorrow.
And Matt, I just want to thank you for that. I just want the committee to know that the only reason why we're not ready to jump on this right now is because you've been making sure everyone has boxes and packing stuff, and just for the public that this software is very, very important, but we wanted to get the teachers settled and get things done so that they can double check I wanted them to leave the year feeling like, okay, my stuff all arrived. I know where I'm going to be next fall. They might not be able to unpack, but at least they'll know where they are. So thank you, Matt, for working on this, and we can certainly deal with this in the board meeting in June and get it straightened out.
Yep.
Okay, Jim?
Yeah, I've got some questions on the subheadings here. I looked at the hosting, and it says it has 200 Gs of storage, and I'm just wondering, that's cloud storage, I assume. Is that going to be enough for us, or are we going to end up buying additional storage? Do you know at this point, or?
I think at this point it's going to be enough storage, but if we can on this system for like 10 plus years, it may not be enough.
Okay.
You have to understand what we're doing is we're trying to do a paperless operation.
Right.
Where right now all of our invoices are scanned in while we're doing all the payments. I want to bring that even further and scan in everything, including like journal entries, all support, and try to retain as little paper as possible. And that's going to consume a lot of the space out on the hosted site. And at some point, we're probably going to have to expand it.
So will they give us a quote on what additional bandwidth is?
At that time, they could.
Yeah.
I think right now, what the strategy would be is, say, for example, we went 5 years out and then we're starting to run out of bandwidth, then I could probably come to the board and say, do we want to purge a year's worth of data off of the system to stay inside the bandwidth?
And the servers we have now, are they pretty much obsolete? We're going to get rid of those, or can we use them for some of this overflow, or not new stuff, but old stuff?
It's my understanding that the server that we're sitting on, and I could be wrong with the age, it's about 7 years old. And in my experience, 7 years is about the time that you use a server.
Okay. I noticed in there that with the maintenance, there is a travel expense, but they don't say what it is. Do you know anything about that, or is that something you're going to look into later?
Is this on their quote?
Yeah, it's on the quote. It's in the
Okay.
quote. Yeah.
So the travel expense would be for one of their project leaders to come out here and train the staff and help us on the implementation.
But we don't have any cost information on that.
No.
Okay. And then on the site assessment, they had 3 categories and they were all marked not applicable. One was the number of current users, the other was web portal, and then there was the Tyler Contact Manager. Is it not applicable because it's covered in the proposal? It's under site assessment.
Yeah. So I was hoping that they would have a site license so that it's the number of users that we have will port over. Tyler Content Manager is their online scanning software. So whenever we scan something for like accounts payable, it goes into the Content Manager software. And to us, it's seamless. We don't even know it goes in there, but we have to have that module in order to go paperless.
So is that included in the overall proposal, and that's why these are marked not applicable?
Yeah, I probably.
Okay.
Well, the option is either not applicable or included, and they're marked not applicable. So I don't know. That is confusing.
Yeah, I see it as well. If you go back to the quote, I gotta load the quote too. Yeah, I don't see the Content Manager in there as well.
So that's something to check into, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. And then on both the complementary interfaces and the capabilities, I don't know if you've had a chance to sort of double check to make sure you're getting everything you want. I guess that's in process at this point.
Right now, we're actually attending. I've seen the system personally.
Yeah.
And so staff is right now reviewing a lot of the presentations that are being held remotely, and I'm getting big thumbs up from the staff just because it's amazing what it can do.
Okay. And you already said you're looking into the option to go deeper for the public.
Yes.
And the board and members, committee members. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's it for me. Thank you.
Don, any other questions?
No, not right now.
Okay, I had a lot of similar questions, Jim, about hardware requirements, software upgrades that might be needed, and the complementary listings on exactly what's in and what's out and what will we go away with. Because I did a quick payback analysis that didn't seem right to me. And so we really need to know, to the points made, what's in and what's out. So. Next items is the cost estimates of the 6 remaining projects. So we talked about the 6 remaining projects that we still have to fund.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, continue.
There's a roof repair. So we have that number that was already provided and approved. Front entrance revisions of Memorial would be the next one. And Matt, you were working on that. Do you have an update on that one?
Yeah, so at the end of last week, the architect walked the space at Memorial, and today we received like it's better than a hand sketched diagram of the Memorial entrance, and it's really for us to kind of gauge whether this is in line with our thinking, and then a more detailed plan is going to be made with specifications. Okay, and so today I emailed that out. I've only had one response, which was from the superintendent. But I really think that it's going to look pretty cool at the end of the day. And still, we're going to try to do this in-house with some contractors. So we're going to be the general contractor on this.
One wall and a few doors and a window. I think we can handle that. Well, I think Matt can handle that.
The proverbial we.
Yeah. We meet usually means Pat, Matty, or Jody these days, but we're doing good. Matt has been I can't sing Matt enough praises this last 3 weeks. He's really been all over it. And I do want to mention that Ryan McCluskey, the principal at Memorial, did a great job of kind of really thinking about this carefully, looking at different options, thinking about money and thinking about time. And he came up with the final version of this. And I really like it. It's a little bit more than what I originally proposed, but when he explained the functionality and the way it would work, I thought it was great. We did a call where Matt and Ryan were at the school and they walked through it and showed me the flow and everything, and it was awesome. So I'm really happy. Matt, were you going to show them the actual drawing, or do you want to do that at an upcoming meeting once it's finalized?
I can bring it up on my.
Yeah, why don't we show folks what it looks like?
Oh, let's see. Isn't this great that we can do this?
Well, some of us can.
Nobody's perfect, Jamie.
Hey, you did it once, Jamie.
Good.
That's all.
I
that
did do
matters.
it once.
right.
I just couldn't get it back.
You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be really good, Jamie. That's what I tell everyone.
Okay, now I got to zoom it in and go here to share. And now I can go find it. It's right there. I believe this is it. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So
Cool.
if you're going to walk through the main entrance is the one that's by the main road. There's an existing door. And then we're going to make a vestibule here by adding in a double door a little further down the hallway. There's an existing door on the between the vestibule and the waiting room, but we have to put in a new wall in the waiting room. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to put in a cinder block wall with either concrete filled or sand filled. We're going to have a Lexian window, a ballistic Lexian window up top with a little shelf to hand stuff underneath the window. Then there's an existing door to the left of the word waiting. And then inside that admin space, we're going to add in a stick frame wall with a door. And then knock down an existing wall that's between secretary and the mail room. Okay. And that's, I think we have to add in a door in the mail room, or
Yep.
No, we have to reverse the swing on that.
Yeah, I think it was just reversing the swing, Matt.
Right now it's a right-hand swing and we need to make it a left-hand swing. Okay. So this is today's idea of what we're doing.
Looks good.
I think that we're 99% done with it, though, everyone. That's why I asked Matt to put it up. We've worked really hard on this, and Ryan has to live with it, and Patty had worked in the building. So Ryan and Patty both looked it over, and I know that this is pretty much the plan.
Okay.
So of course I asked the architect, can we do this for $60,000? And he said you can do it for probably less than that, but I don't know what the final figures were.
So I'm going to stop sharing this.
Do we know when we're going to be able to have our best estimate as to what those costs would be?
Yeah, what we need to do is we need to talk internally first to see if this is the plan that we want to stick with. Right now, I know Tom, the superintendent, has chimed in and said, yeah, go with it. And then we have to go and do a more formal plan with specifications, and then go out, get pricing, and then we can bring it back to facilities. I'm thinking it's going to be the end of June. And this work will be done probably July and August.
So we'll need to get the final plan to the board for the meeting in June.
Yep.
So that you have an authorization. So that would be June 5th or 6th or something. We might have a second meeting in June just because of everything that's going on. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Looks good. Nice
Yeah.
job.
I like it.
Big change from the $250,000 reboot of the whole thing when I started here. I have to tell you,
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, no way. They wanted to rip out the whole right side of that picture, and it was just crazy. And it was
Right.
bad for kids because it used up too much larger space that children can utilize. So this takes up way less of the kids' space, and they also get more space back on the other end of the building. So don't
I was going
forget
to say,
the
what's
office.
going to go into like the office space, or what was the office space?
I don't know exactly what Ryan's doing with the office space. I thought he might put guidance in there, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to speak for him.
Right.
No, that's great. All these things are looking pretty good.
Thank you. Good job, Matt.
There's an awful lot going on, and we're getting some good results from an awful lot going on. So
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie.
thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item was paving.
Yeah. Let me see if I can bring something up on the screen again.
How many more items do we have? I'm just watching the time. It's 4:37.
I think with the rest of them, the water piping, the locker rooms, the bathrooms were already on the other bid. And so we've got bus costs and COVID-19, and Dawn had her hand raised also.
No, I was just saying there's like 4 more cost estimates and then just the other couple of things.
All right, so let's keep rolling. I think we can do this.
Okay. So I'm going to share this right now is our latest, greatest plan. Okay. And what we're going to try to do is keep the buses right in the loop where they are. But then we need to instead of having the parent pickup loop go up in front of the high school like it normally has, we're worried that it's going to back up onto 111. What we're going to try to do is cut through the island off to the left-hand side right there.
Matt, can you point that out with your mouse where you want to reduce? Right there.
Right
we want to
there.
create a road there so parents can drive in and take a left, and then the backup will be in the parking lot instead of the staff will already be parked, so it's not a staff parking issue. So the idea is that if you look at see that blue box that says PM parent pickup, where the P is the path to go into the middle school. Parents can drop kids off at the end of that path and they walk into the middle school, or they pull up a little further and the kids walk into the front of the building for high school. So the idea is that parents can do, even if you had 2 kids, you drop the middle school one off at the middle school one, and then you drive forward and drop off the high school kid.
Yeah. So this right here is the middle school entrance, and this right here is the high school entrance. And then this is the bus loop entrance over here. So,
and the middle school kids will go in at the back of the wing, right above the word parent in the blue box. So when the middle school kids get dropped off from the bus, if you see the word parent right there where Matt's pointer is, that's where the middle school kids will enter the building from the buses. They won't be with the high school kids. They'll be let off separately. So the high school kids will get off, and then the middle school kids will get off.
Okay.
So my only question, because now you're going to have parents cutting across in front of the bus loop. If the parents is there going to be somebody there controlling traffic so the buses can get out and still get to the elementary school stops that they need to get to without any problem?
yes. So the SRO is going to stand out here in the 111 to direct all the traffic. You can quickly step up here if it becomes a problem. But I think what you'll find is the parents would stop right here. We're actually hoping that the parents would only come up to about here. And this would be open. But if it backs up out like this, then he could move this forward. There's plenty of room for cars to move out of the way and then the buses can leave. Now, we're also trying to talk about the parking right here, about like having this student parking that may go to SST, and they would be leaving early in the afternoon so the parents could come in here and physically park in front of the building, which would relieve this queue. Okay.
So Dawn, when you asked last year, we were chuckling because we had this all worked out, but we weren't ready to share it yet. I was kind of laughing. I'm like, not now.
Jamie,
Yeah,
Jamie?
go ahead.
You might want some signage there too, where you're going to do that new paving
Yes.
that says don't block the cross road.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna have to have signage right here for a parent loop, okay? And then we're gonna have signage, I believe, over here to direct parents back out, okay? And that we're gonna have signage to stop people from coming into the loop here as well. The current loop.
Could I just say too, I just wanted everyone to know, I don't want to change topics, but Ryan McCluskey just let me know that he completely approves the drawing of Memorial.
Nice.
He said it looks great.
Can I ask one more question?
Yep, shoot.
So at the end of the day, like I don't see a huge problem with like it may get a little congested at that main entrance in the morning, but in the afternoon, is there going to also be somebody out there at the main entrance directing parents and students? Because that's a very, very small exit. Not that one. That one. That's that's already very, very challenging for the high school students alone to get out. And then you add all those parents. How are we going to do that in the afternoon and not have there be a million accidents? Really, really irritated parents and kids.
Yep. So just so you know, like I've told everyone, the first 2 weeks of school are always brutal with bus routes and flow. And people are going to panic this year and feel like, oh my God, it's the reorganization. It's a mess. They didn't do a good job. When we really are just going to have the normal settling of bus routes and parent traffic and flow. So the first thing is I'm saying this more for the microphone, Don, than you, but for the community, the flow is always hard the first few days. Matt and I will need to talk with Chief Briggs to see if we might be able to have a detail come and get that flow moving more at the front the way they do at Memorial, because Mike is always over there every day. If we can't do that, then we're going to have to figure that part out. The answer is yes. I just don't know who yet.
Okay, good. Because it's already, even at the end of the year, it's a mess getting kids out of there. It's really challenging. So
that's one that won't be, if we don't do that right, it's not going to get fixed with the flow at the beginning of the year.
Right.
Right. That's a big one.
Yeah. And can I also, I know Jim was talking about signage. Can we also make sure we work on signage at the other schools as well? Because you're going to have a lot of new parents coming in that do not know what the drop off pickup are. So sure. I know Bakey, I mean, I've been going there for years and we still have parents that don't know how it works because the lines are not painted to a point you can see them anymore. So signage and painting on all of them would be hugely helpful at all of the schools that we have.
Okay, great. Sure. We can do that.
Yep. Good point.
And stop sharing this.
All right.
I'm emailing Matt's secretary to remind her that we need signage at other buildings. There's so many little things going on.
There's a lot.
I'm gonna jump down to the bus company and come back to the COVID-19 and then the phone.
Yep.
Where do we stand on the bus company? The concerns were we're paying full still and we're not having any more requirements for the rest of the school year.
Yes, I negotiated about a $40,000 reduction from the bus company.
I was gonna say,
They started out at 5,000 and I said, no way.
right.
I liked them and it was fine, but I just said, you have to be saving more. And they were good. And they recognize that you have to remember that our bus companies, both bus companies, special ed and regular ed, have to maintain their drivers so that they have them for the fall. The minute school opens, they need their drivers, and drivers are very hard to find. It's not like they can just furlough them all and then hire them back. They'll go do something else. And they can't risk not having bus drivers. It's just like our paras. It's the same thing with the paraprofessionals. If we lose them all, we have kids with IEPs, we have to have those positions filled. So it's just really important to recognize that the bus company worked with us, but there weren't as much savings as one might think.
What was what's the total that it would have otherwise been? I'm trying to understand the percent.
The contract is $880,000. And I got
just that part of the year left?
No, the whole year.
Yeah. That's, I mean, of the part of the year left, because we're getting 40,000 back on the part of the year left.
Thanks, Jamie. That's a really good point. I really appreciate that. Matt, do you know the amount there were some numbers that were thrown around, but it was a significant percentage.
Yeah, because it would be good to get that number for me if you could, and we'll put that in the
Okay.
minutes, because 40 on 880 doesn't sound a lot, but that's not the fair comparison, because the 880, they've completed 3/4 of those services. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's
services were provided.
it's closer to 220. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so if it's going to be closer to 220, you're 40 on 220. That's a big difference.
Okay, you're gonna laugh. The number that I calculated is $220,792.50.
And then,
Are you sure about that 50 cents? I'm challenging that one.
Yeah.
Matt, what was the actual total amount exactly? Do you have the refund in front of you? I can pull it up.
No, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
No, I'm actually looking at a spreadsheet that I did for the state of New Hampshire for the Department of Education. They want to know the cost that we are estimating for the end of the year of services that we're paying for, but we're not receiving.
The exact amount that they gave us back was actually $44,760.
Okay, so you're better than 20%. Matt, the fair statement to say that would unencumber 44,760 that was previously encumbered in the prior sheet?
Yes.
I
Thank
was
you.
basically trying to pay for the memorial office. That was my thinking on that.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, take that. That's good. And then Matt, you wanted to make sure that we talk about the phone company. We're going to run out of time here. So what did you have on phone?
I told you 4:45 because I knew this would happen. So we've got 7 more minutes.
Yep.
We have 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So the IT department did a RFP for phone systems for the high school. With the middle school move to the high school, we have to buy a new phone system. And basically our existing phone system can't support 2 different entities being within the same building. And to do this, we're going to be able to update the 911, the E911, where if someone were to dial 911 in the building, it would actually come up with the room number for the 911 operator. Okay, so we're really gaining safety in this regard. Okay, there were 2 systems that were proposed. The system that we felt two things for this particular vendor. The first one is they brought a system to us that was we felt was the better system. In the situation that we're in right now, the teachers would be able to disconnect the phone from the network, bring it home, plug it into their internet connection there, and it'll actually work in their location as their extension. Okay. The second piece is we felt that the service that we would be getting from this particular vendor is just that much better. So the 2 bids, the one that we felt was a better choice was $46,258. The other one was $46,921.
Which, by the way, I just want to say that I pushed Matt to go back to them and get the bids to talk about flexibility and pricing. So that is a negotiated price. Good job, Matt.
Good job, both of you.
Yep. Matt went back and saved us a bunch of money to get that. So the connectivity piece is really important to me. If we have to be remote like this again for COVID, people will bring their school phones home with them, plug them in, and they will actually get the phone through their computer, right, Matt, through internet.
Yes.
Yeah. So
We're
that
hoping.
means that their school phone number will still work. That is huge.
So these are all voice over IP phones.
That's correct.
So Tom, Matt is spending this money. You just said 45,000 from the bus company school, and Matt just spending 46,000 of it, for God's sakes.
I'm just going to remember that everyone's watching this at home on YouTube, and I'm going to be very kind right now.
You can sing me later.
Yeah.
That's all right.
No.
I was thinking it too.
Let me see if I can find my Darth Vader background.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Go ahead, Matt.
before we go, I want to kind of go over the remaining projects for the year, because I know, Jamie, you're trying to pull up a list of projects, and what's not on the list is, let's see, we're doing the memorial entrance, we're doing the middle school phone system, we're doing the high school, middle school, second floor exit door. That's in planning, and cost estimates are in the work. We're doing the book room renovation, which is going to be converting the book storage room to classroom space, where the quick estimate on that is less than 50,000. Of course, we're looking at the parking lot, paving, striping, seal coating. We also have to empty out the science building of surplus property. We have to set up available space at the existing middle school for classroom space, and that I want to try to rent out. And then finally finish evaluating the video cameras and replace as needed. I know there are other projects that are outstanding, but that's what's coming down the pipeline.
We also have to put, so Jamie, I wanted you to know that I was looking over my list of the big 6 or 7 things that we've been talking about. I forgot about we have to add either some doors or a window to the classroom, that we're going to use the book room at the high school as classroom space with the reorganization, but we're not ready to give you pricing on that yet. We've been having some conversations about how to do that and do it for the most reasonable price. So for example, if it's being used to do creative projects in the STEM area, it might make sense to put in 2 doors instead of windows, which ironically is cheaper. Right? Doors with windows are cheaper than those windows at the high school because we have to have them custom made to match the high school windows. So we'll be in touch on that one sooner than later, but it's not pressing right at the moment. I just don't, I don't want to surprise anyone later. I forgot it on my list of 6. Brian reminded me.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the 6 those are the big 6, as you mentioned. They're the must-haves.
Right.
These aren't as critical.
Except with this space, we can't use
critical.
it as a classroom without some kind of egress.
Right.
It only has one form of egress because it was designed as a storage space. So it actually is a requirement to utilize it as classroom space, and we do need it for next year. Brian reminded me of that last week.
So I mean, that would be really for the facilities discussion, so we can
easy. Yep.
In the facilities, because there's other questions there. Jim, you had your hand up?
Yeah, that's fine. You've covered it.
Okay. The other item that I wanted to talk about was Matt. I sent a spreadsheet. He wasn't able to get it. I sent it again, but he didn't have any time for prep. Ultimately, I think the intent of the spreadsheet is simply to say some of the numbers that we just went through today. So I got $400,000 roughly in health that's unencumbered. There's roughly 1.5 million in spending that's unencumbered. There is roughly 987 in revenue still to come in. There is roughly $55,000 of spending that's needed for the memorial roof. There is roughly $45,000 or $60,000 in spending for the memorial vestibule. I'm just trying to get those together and see what does that look like, and then also see what it looks like with the savings from the implementation in 2021. That was, I think, 1.4 million. And then how does that lay out, just so we can start framing that up? That was the intent of that spreadsheet, Matt, that didn't come through. And we don't have time to step through it now. Jim, you had talked to me on a spreadsheet, and does that cover what you're trying to cover on the spreadsheet or no?
Yes. Yeah.
It does. Okay.
So that's our June meeting, Jamie. That's really what we need to do, because at that point we'll know more. But if we need another meeting in between, I'm fine. Remember, I said about 3 weeks ago, finance and facilities may need to meet more.
Yep.
Like, you remember how we did all those policies last year? Well, this year, finance and facilities right now are hot, important committees. So, Matt, go ahead.
Go ahead, Matt.
We really need to meet at the end of June, and basically at that meeting, I'm going to be talking about what my estimated fund balance is going to be.
We meet at the end of May.
I'm sorry.
At the end of May, right?
I know, but we still need to meet at the end of June.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And a particular meeting has to be before a school board meeting, and I'm going to make a recommendation of how much the school board should reserve as contingency funds into the following year to help offset the tax rate in the following year.
So Matt, why don't you and I get together this week and try to lay out a meeting schedule for the balance of the year with what it is possible for you to deliver at which one of these steps, so that we can then get that information out to the other board members to say, this is what's coming at this period of time, and this is when you'll have more information at that. So we can get around those realities. It's not just going to be the 2 meetings.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Jamie?
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I'd like as much information as far as numbers go as soon as we can get them, so that we're not bombarded with a bunch of information in 1 or 2 meetings and have to, digest it all at one time.
I agree completely. And Matt, Jamie, I'd like to be a part of that conversation with Matt once you get it fleshed out.
Okay.
Okay. Just so that, because there's so much going on. I just want to make sure that we don't, I don't want to miss we're not going to miss anything, but what Jim's getting at is transparency and comfort. And I think that's important. So we can certainly have another meeting in 2 or 3 weeks just to check in.
Yeah.
We don't, what I'm saying is that right now is a really important time for the organization and we do need to talk.
Yep, I agree. Matt, you get the last word, and then Gordon's going to boot us.
Okay, so what I've done with Jim Baker in the facilities committee meeting is to develop this Word document where we're going to do like a narrative as to all the different projects and have it be presented in one meeting and then approved in the second meeting.
Yep.
Everything is kind of flushed out. We can do the same here.
I think that makes sense, Matt.
Okay.
Great.
Great work, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Anything else for, no, Matt had the last word. I guess we're done. The meeting is hereby adjourned.